signing with you pushed me to finally reach a goal that I think will literally change my business forever and ever. My current model is hourly, and I knew I wanted to get away from just charging people for one-on-one sessions to build something bigger. And I remember this is the lesson that I took away at first was I had ideas about what the right product for my audience was. And you went, well, okay, well, hold on. Let's just validate that first. I interviewed three people.
Mm.
I then went to my personal business coach and I said, these are the three people I've talked to. Here's the pitches. And he said, you should go with these guys.
Naj, thank you very much for doing this interview with me. Before we get into the details and the exact launch and how we started working together, what we managed to achieve, can you just tell me a little bit about yourself, introduce yourself, who you are, what you do, and how you got into what you're doing currently?
Sure. I'm a psychotherapist and coach focusing on attachment and relationships. Um, I started an Instagram journey a little over a year ago. Was very, very bad at it for a while. And then all of a sudden found a little success, recently hit 10,000 followers, and wanted to leverage that little bit of success into growing my business. And that's how I met David.
Amazing, amazing. And can you give me a little bit of an overview as to where you were exactly before we started working together, and sort of a picture of where you started out?
Well, I was really good at creating content and I figured out what kind of content was resonating with my audience, but I had very little understanding of how to go from there to creating a a larger business than I was doing. I had my current model is hourly, and I knew I wanted to get away from just charging people for one-on-one sessions to build something bigger, but there's so many moving pieces. I knew that I also recently had a baby. So I was way too overwhelmed to do all of those pieces and learn all of the systems, everything from ManyChat and, automations to understanding the payment system, to, how to close people when you're offering a higher ticket offer. All of those things were enormous amount of work that I knew I could not figure out on my own. And, David offered solutions to all of those things within the first call we had.
So the main thing that you came to us with for help was mainly transitioning from the hourly rate to sort of like a program style where it would allow you, at least on the longer term, to set your own prices and also essentially structure your service in a way that fits you better, right?
Yeah, and to be frank, it was a bit of an experiment, right? 'Cause that's what growing a business is. It's seeing what the market will bear. And so we came up with ideas. Let's price points, and you did all this market research. And I remember this is the lesson that I took away at first was I had ideas about what the right product for my audience was. And you went, well, okay, well, hold on. Let's just validate that first. And then you did your own research and came back with a slightly different product that I was like, wow, that's here's the real evidence for why that product will actually work for this group of people. Um, and then how to sell it to them, how much they will buy, and who wants to buy it. Those are all works in progress, but all the confusion I felt at first was all gone. And all the guessing I was doing was all gone because you did all that work.
Yeah, yeah, for sure, for sure. We did clear up a couple of things, and to be honest, it was a quite of an ambiguous situation because we had a couple of ideas. You had a couple of ideas. We had a couple of ideas. So it was extremely interesting to see what actually the market wanted and what the people reacted to. Uh, yeah, before we started working together, obviously you had something in mind already and sort of what direction you wanted to go in. When you came to me, you already knew that doing a coaching program, a group coaching program, would be something worth exploring. So after we got to talking, what was it that you initially expected to come out of this collaboration? Did you expect it to be as it was like like we did, at least we collected above $10,000 in 30 days of the launch, or was it worse, was it better, what did you expect?
It was. Not exactly what I expected, in that I guess I was too optimistic that in terms of closing people and what it would be like for them to jump on board and how many moving pieces there were. I kind of just assumed it'd be easier. But the truth is that because again, I had a baby and I don't have a ton of time, I was limited in the amount of time I could dedicate to this. It ended up being in some ways better because I have so much clarity now on what I should do for my next steps and how to go about it. It was like such a growing moment for me. Like I grew in terms of as an entrepreneur, I grew enormously by working with you and learning from you and getting like feedback from you. Um, but yeah, sure. Like a part of me hoped this would have been easier. Like people, I would have created a product and people would have just come in and been like, yes, sign me up immediately. But the truth is that, the high ticket sales part of this is such a growing edge for me that that was really hard. So even though sales happened, which is, amazing and is like really nice, obviously, there's still a lot of things to figure out that I was kind of hoping would have been solved by now. But
Mm.
that's not reality. I was sort of in the clouds a little bit.
Yeah, for sure, for sure. I see so many people, to be honest, underestimate the work up front
Yeah.
because from the outside it looks very easy, right? So what do people do? They talk to me in the DMs and then
Mhm.
they book a call. Then you just talk to them a little bit for 45 minutes and then they hand you money. But in reality, the systems that go behind it in order to analyze all the data, in order to actually identify what's wrong and keeping everything together and running, it is a lot of work. So yeah, I appreciate that that obviously you feel like this was opportunity to grow for you. And I also saw that in comparison from the beginning to now, there has been a big improvement in not only our collaboration, but also on both sides, we have a better understanding of the world that we have entered into. So on our side, your world, and on your side, obviously our world. Was there any sort of hesitancy before you started working with us regarding, the process, maybe what we do, or even me in specific?
I interviewed 3 people.
Mm.
I then went to my personal, business coach, and I said, "These are the 3 people I've talked to. Here's the pitches." And he said, "You should go with these guys." And so I did. And my fiance, she saw a video of you and went, "Oh, I like this kid," and she saw clips of everybody else. So I think there's an easiness and a comfort that you bring that feels trustworthy and relatable. Like, oh, I want to work with this person, which is helpful because other people had good ideas, but it's helpful when you like someone more. There was also a transparency about the process and the cost that other people were hesitant around. Maybe I could have gotten it out of them. I could have asked questions, but I didn't need to with you. You just said um, this is the contract. That's it. And then my coach, he's like, well, these are a couple of questions that I would have for him, so I brought them to you. You answered them, and you said exactly what I was hoping to hear. Like one of the big questions was, David, I don't want to be dependent on you. I don't want to 6 months from now feel like I'm stuck with these guys no matter what. I want to hire my own team at some point. And you said, sure, I'm building systems for you. I'm willing to work with you as long as you're in a place of growth. I'm confident you're going to need me while we're growing because you and I are working together. But as soon as you get to where you want to go, yeah, maybe you won't need me as much, or you'll hire someone else, and that's totally fine with me. And I was like, well, hell, well, what else can I ask for from a business partner? Someone who's knows where they're needed and when they're not. It's perfect.
I appreciate that. I appreciate you not only obviously choosing us, because in the end I do think that this collaboration worked out very well, but also being such a helpful part in the process yourself as well, because I also saw that you were all the time proactive, doing things, doing the right things, and doing everything very professionally. Not only on the content side, obviously this is what got you 10,000 followers in the first place, but also then on every single other aspect of the collaboration as well. So, in summary, how would you describe what you were able to achieve with us?
I've wanted to do this for like a long time, and signing with you pushed me to finally reach a goal uh, that I think will literally change my business forever and ever. Like had I not signed up with you, I would not have done this. I would not have built a program. I would not have pushed myself to hard sell people at times. I would not have pushed myself to book sales calls ever, or all the other automations. Um, it just leveled up everything, and it's like I would say I wouldn't say even that like I'm there where I want to be, but like you opened the door to how to get there. And now I understand the process and who I need to hire and the role someone like you would play in that instead of just figuring out how to do it all on my own. Um, so yeah, I mean, it's been like, yeah, it was in that way, it was everything I needed and hoped for because I really see the future in a different way now.
Gotcha, and I appreciate that fully. So you mentioned that obviously this opened up a couple of new doors for you. Can you give me a little bit of an insight as to what you tried before working with us, what your direction was, why that was not optimal, or maybe even what parts of it worked but not so well?
Yeah. Well, the traditional idea, I think, when you're using Instagram is I need 1 million followers, right? I need so many followers that when I launch a product, there'll be people to buy it. But when I came to you, I was like at 9K, and my time, over a couple months of working, we were at 10K. That is not a lot of followers in the world of Instagram. And you said to me that, listen, it's not really about how many followers you have. It's about the engagement and how well you can build a system to get them engaged and give them what they want. Find out what they want, and sell it to them. And that was made so much sense to me. Um, and other people did not say that to me, and I did not know that was possible. So I would have just continued to build content for like another who knows how long until I hit some arbitrary number. And then I would feel like, okay, now I can start getting people in. But now, like, let's say this idea with the program and this dollar amount doesn't quite work, like it flops a little bit. That's fine because I have so many ways to pivot from this point because of what you have shown me with like how to use your stories to build anticipation and do this and do that. I could just pull in people at a higher dollar amount for my hourly. I could pull in people for just the program. I could do so many things with these pieces you've given me. But before it was more rigid, and I think like less optimism. A big, like I really didn't feel like this flexibility and knowledge that I have now.
Definitely, definitely. Everyone on social media wants to build this big castle, this amazing mansion, but has no tools to do it. And
Yeah.
at the end of the day, if you don't have the bricks to lay for the house, you don't have the foundation to lay, then you can have all the visions in your mind. It's very hard to actually transmute them into reality. So, you describing obviously your situation before working with us, what would you tell someone in a similar situation trying to build their social media following, or even grow as a coach, as a therapist, expand their opportunities? What would you give them on their way?
Be consistent. Have a vision. If you don't have a vision, find someone who can help you build a vision, and execute. It's at the end of the day, it's not like the people who go viral. They're not, and then try to go viral again and again. They fail. The people who get lucky because they're just doing what they want to do because it's authentic to them, they continue to go viral and they continue to grow their channel. So just be consistent, figure out who you are, be very clear about what your message is, and then the people will find you. And find a good team who can support you. Don't try to do it all on your own.
Amazing message. I'm sure that a lot of people will get value from that. And what's next for you? So, where do you go from here?
I think it's continuing to grow at a rate that is sustainable for me. I have ideas on where I want my business to go, And I think in the past it was like, oh, I have to hit this mark. Really, now it's just take the next step. And you might be surprised how that leads to a totally different direction than you thought you were going to go. Just take the next step and be ready to pivot at any moment, because you never know, you know, what this is going to throw at you.
Definitely, definitely. The market can be unpredictable, and we have to go with what we think is right. If our opinion changes, if we see that something does not make as much sense as it did before, we have to pivot. So I completely agree with you over there.
Yeah.
Okay, Nash, thank you very much for doing this interview. This almost 2 month collaboration, 30 days since your launch, and collecting over $10,000, contracting revenue. I guess it was like 13.6K as of right now. And then with a couple more coming, with a couple of the people still in the pipeline, we will see how this turns out exactly. But I think this was a very good collaboration, and I'm very happy that we actually got to work together. Do you have any last words to add before we hop off the call?
Just gratitude. Thank you. It's been a pleasure.
I appreciate that. Thank you, man.
Thank you.